Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello and welcome to this episode of our show. This is your host, Keith Doherty. Today our special guest is top real estate broker Danna Hinz of the Hinz Group at RE/MAX Alliance based out of Louisville, Colorado. Danna is a Boulder County native and has been in real estate for 17 years. Prior to that, she was a local sheriff's deputy. She believes that experience gave her a skill set for helping people and problem solving. She works primarily by referral, and she has a strong base of law enforcement and military support. After all these years, she still has a great passion for what she does. Danna loves helping people, especially in this difficult market. Anyone can sell in an easy market. The professionals come out in these hard times. The satisfaction of getting her buyers under contract fuels her spirit. She loves being that trusted advisor to her clients and friends. In 2010, Danna received the prestigious RE/MAX Hall of Fame, and in 2015 as the top Agent magazine cover agent in April. Recently nominated for 5-Star Professional's Rising Star Real Estate Agent Award, and is one of the 10 best real estate agents for Colorado for client satisfaction by the American Institute of Real Estate Professionals. All right, with all that said, Danna, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's quite the honor.
Danna, if we could start, what led you into real estate? Was it something that you always knew you wanted to do, or did you stumble into it?
Well, when I was a sheriff's deputy, I was not fond of working nights, and that's what started it. So I prayed a lot, asked friends, asked family, what would I be good at? What else could I do? I wanted to do something where I could work as hard as I wanted and reap the benefits of all of my own hard work. And everybody kept saying, oh, you'd make a great realtor. You'd make a great realtor. You're such a people person. And I started looking into it and got my license in 7 weeks, never looked back. It's been the best thing that ever happened to me. I absolutely love my job. Yeah,
I can definitely relate to looking back, in law enforcement and the night shift was definitely not, especially when we moved to 12-hour shift, it was not fun working at night at all, especially overnight.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, so I can definitely relate to that. I guess if we could talk a little bit about what personal attributes, traits, or qualities do you think have most contributed to the success that you've had? And then can you talk a little bit about how you think you developed these?
Well, I think after 10 years at the Sheriff's Department and the people skills that you learn and the conflict resolution that you learn doing that job, and I'm really friendly, very open-minded, I'm really creative when it comes to problem solving, and I think that's what this business is problem solving and being able to manage a lot of different personality traits to get to the same end for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you think you could give our listeners an example of when your traits have played a role in your path towards success?
When the market first sort of changed back in the early 2000s, buyers were left with, if we don't have money, how do we get down payments? And I did a bunch of research into how other ways, short of you not having your own money, how can you do this? And figured out that, hey, sellers can credit you money, and the different ways around crediting buyers, which allowed a lot of first-time home buyers, clients of mine, to actually get into their first home with the help of the seller. And then when the market switched again and everything got really hot here in Colorado, it was really hard to get my buyers in front of sellers, because you're one of 20 offers, how you even get noticed. So I started advising my buyers to write love letters to the seller. I said, I can't get in front of them, but if I attach a letter from you to them, then you'll get in front of them. You'll become a person to them instead of a number on paper. And that really, now everybody does it, but at the time, that was a real trick to getting noticed and to be, to stand up out of the crowd for my buyers. So that worked really well.
No, that's great. I love, we actually, my wife and I used that tactic years ago, and nobody advised us. I just thought, I'm like, you know what, I want them to, because, coming from a business background as well, in law enforcement, stories resonate with people, and to be able to connect personally with them, I think really helped for them to be like, oh, these are the kind of people we want. Because a lot of people look at their house, it's a home. It's not just a house. And they're not necessarily just selling it. They want to, kind of pass it on to somebody. So they obviously want to get top dollar. But if they could also see a story behind it of, oh, here's this couple with their kids and they're going to come in and raise them kind of like we did, it kind of, I think it could sway somebody to potentially accept an offer from somebody, like you said, when you got a whole pool of offers coming in.
Yep, exactly.
Well, excellent, Danna. And as we know, with all success, there usually comes some adversities and trials. Could you talk a little bit about some of the major adversities and trials that you had to overcome in order to achieve the success and the goals that you have so far?
Sure. When I got into the market in '99, everything was fine. Things sold fast. And then the telecom market started having issues in 2001, and we ended up with a ton of inventory and homes that were mortgaged higher than their market values, and people were having a hard time selling their homes. So RE/MAX allowed us to take a class, which is the Certified Distressed Property Expert, which allowed us to start doing short sales, to work with banks on behalf of our sellers to get out of their mortgages. That goes along with that Mortgage Forgiveness Act that they had, to where they wouldn't be personally liable for the amount that the bank wrote off as that debt. So that was a major learning curve that we had to get through. We had to learn how to ask for business, because there was so many agents in the market at the time that you really had to fight. I started the business fighting for business instead of just being handed business. I've always had to work for it. And the biggest thing I think that all realtors face is money management. That's, everybody thinks that you make $1 million, and all the salespeople that are out there that want to take everything, and the fear they can install, especially in a new agent, that if you don't spend money, you won't make money. Those have been the hardest things to work through over 17 years, is knowing when things are coming that you have to react to, that you have to learn how to change, like the short sales, down to the daily business of just protecting yourself from people who want to convince you to spend money that's not necessary.
Excellent. And you kind of mentioned that you got started in '99, and then you kind of had a crash there in 2001. So that's kind of fairly early in your career. What kept you going despite these obstacles that obviously kept coming up? Why didn't you give up? What was your driving force?
Well, I never had it easy, so it's just always been the way I've known the business to be, that you have to fight for it, ask for it, be good at what you do. I'm very competitive. I absolutely love what I do, and so failure's not an option, because I don't want to do anything else. I love this, so there's no, I enjoy a challenge. If this was the same thing every day, I would get bored. So I enjoy it.
And I guess looking forward a little bit, what is your vision for your career, say, over the next 5 years?
We are currently expanding our team. I am in the process of hiring a buyer's agent, and I have an assistant. I'm looking for another assistant. So I think just expansion. I love training, so I love new agents, helping people get started. I didn't have any help when I started, and I like to be able to kind of cut that learning curve off for people. So I think just continue to grow, continue to work. That's it.
Excellent. And I guess also on top of that, as you continue to move on, what do you feel the best way that you market yourself as a real estate professional so you can have continual growth?
I typically work 90% by referral. So the people that know me and love me refer me to the people that they know and love. And that's how I get most of my business. So I try to stay, top of mind awareness to those people, stay in front of them, give them, we send out emails and little items of value, things that they find useful. We try to have a summer party every year. And most of my clients turn out to be very dear friends of mine. So it's just the natural progression of my personality and the way I work. So we're starting to get into more of the social media. We just rebuilt our entire website platform. So the hinzgroup.com is all brand new. So that's been kind of fun, but typically it's just the people that know me send me referrals.
And I think sometimes when it comes to real estate agents, there's a lot of times misconceptions from a market standpoint, from how people view an agent and what they bring to the table. What do you think the biggest misconception or myth that people have about working with a real estate agent is?
See, this is something I really struggle with, because hopefully we get to closing and they go, I don't know what you got paid for. You didn't do anything. Because hopefully I'm able to keep all of the stress and frustration away from my client and keep them, happy and make the transaction as easy as possible. Because I think typically they think all we do is paperwork. We write the contract, we do this, we go over title, we show up at closing, and we get paid, which is not all of the negotiations and the experience and the 17 years of all of the things that have gone wrong that I can hopefully try and prevent from going wrong in their transaction. And it's really hard to put a value on that because they don't see the potential issues that arise when you can't see potential issues in the things that you're dealing with. So hopefully you show up and they say why you didn't do anything, and you were able to keep all of that bad stuff away from them. So I guess if that answers your question.
Absolutely. And we'd like to present a situation. Let's say you get a call from a family member. They're in another state where you're obviously not licensed, and they want to sell their home. We understand as an agent you could, find an agent and do a referral, but in general, from an advice standpoint, what advice would you give them about selecting an agent that could best serve their needs? Kind of how you make sure you take care of your clients. What would you tell them to look for in an agent so that they could be taken care of?
I think if I had that situation, I would make a few phone calls, talk to 3 or 4 people in their market. I would do some online digging and see what kind of an online presence / reputation that these people have. Talk to them, especially since I know my family. I'd talk to them on the phone and see if they kind of seem to have the same personality, that I would hope to send my relatives to deal with for 6 to 8 weeks. And then talk to them on the phone. And then after that, send those 3 or 4 people to my relatives with a list of questions of things I think they should get answers to. How well they do conflict resolution, how many deals they do, how long they've been in business, what the market's like in that area, and have those same questions answered by each agent and see who they feel most comfortable with. Would probably be how I would do that being out of state.
And Dan, if somebody is looking for real estate help, especially in the Louisville, Colorado area that you are based out of, what's the best way they can find out more information about you and how you can help them?
Well, we have thehinzgroup.com is our new website, and we have a very full Facebook page at the Hinz Group. Which you can also go see. Those would be the 2 best ways. I also have a list of past clients that are more than happy to talk to any future clients that would want to actually, and agents actually too, because I give a list of agent referrals with each offer I write so that people can see what am I really like after we go under contract, and I don't have to play nice to get under contract anymore. Am I still nice after we're under contract? So I give a list of clients and agents if anybody were to want to talk to anybody I've worked with in the past.
Well, excellent. And Danna, I want to personally obviously thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come here and share all of your real estate experience with our listeners. And if you're listening and you want to learn more about Danna and how she can help you, she mentioned that you can visit her website, as well as we're going to have links to her site and any other contact information below this interview so you can easily get in touch with her. And with all that said, everybody, until our next show, have a great day, and we'll talk to you all soon.
Thank you, Keith.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.